On June 8th, 2022, a then 20-year-old Santino, who went by the name Sonny, was heard arguing with his 13-year-old girlfriend. Minutes later, she was shot in the face with a shotgun. Santino would go on the run for 2 weeks before being arrested.
Whoa. Slow your roll. 13? Y'all should have knew I was gonna stop it right there. Oh, he tweaking. Yeah, he looked crazy already. You 20, what? He was 20 years old at the time. Shot her in the face?
Yeah. Whoa.
Man, what's up everybody? It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all and y'all rocking with me. And for this video, we're going to be speaking on Tory Lanez getting stabbed inside a prison and the man who did it. May 12th, 2025, located north of Los Angeles lies the California Correctional Institution in Tehachapi, California. In 2021, the prison closed its minimum custody facility, meaning its 2,600 inmates were level 3 or level 4. These are the most dangerous levels in California State Prison, where race, gangs, and strict politics are enforced with deadly consequence. The only step above this would be the maximum security inmates housed within the security housing unit, otherwise known as the SHU. A disciplinary confinement reserved for the prison's most violent, whose only escape from a cell is a human dog cage. It was 7:20 in the morning when 32-year-old Daystar Peterson, who's more commonly known as the rapper Tory Lanez, was violently attacked. TMZ would originally report multiple sources, including a corrections officer, claimed Tory was on the prison yard, but an updated report from a representative of the California Department of Corrections would clarify Tory was attacked within a housing unit. Prison staff rushed into the...
So that must be the unit that they saying. So he was actually inside. And for those that don't know, that's exactly what the inside looked like. If you don't, stay away. It looks very familiar to me, sad to say. But they all pretty much look the same. So they trying to say he got hit in the inside.
Unit administering first aid while quickly determining Tory suffered life-threatening injuries, forcing them to call 911. Video would emerge of who's believed to be Tory Lanez landing in a life flight helicopter at Kern Medical Center in Bakersfield, California, an hour-long drive from the prison. With that distance, a helicopter was the only form of transportation able to move him fast enough to save his life.
An hour-long ride, like, you know what I'm saying? That's critical. That's critical, especially coming from a professional. When we talking about time in a critical situation like that, I mean, you taking a flight and it's still an hour away. Man, fortunately, he survived. You know what I mean? But that's some time. That's delay. You know what I'm saying? That's a pretty, you know what I mean, ticket ride right there for a critical situation.
A message to Tory Lanez's Instagram account would state he'd been stabbed 14 times. 7 wounds to his back, 4 to his torso, 2 to the back of his head, and 1 to the left side of his face. Both of his lungs collapsed and he had to be placed on a breathing apparatus. Luckily, Tory was breathing on his own, and despite the pain was talking normally, in good spirits, and deeply thankful to God that he is pulling through. He also wanted to thank everyone for their continued prayers and support. Based on his wounds, it can be assumed Tory was attacked from behind, as the majority of his wounds struck his back and behind his head. Initially, no word was released as to who did it, leaving room for speculation. Because this took place in California, the only time someone is stabbed and it doesn't result in a race riot is if they are stabbed by their own race. But that isn't the case here. Compton rapper Spider Loc would post a conversation with a current inmate at Tehachapi. The man would claim Tory was on a tier full of Mexicans when a Mexican stabbed Tory. He'd confirmed Tory had to be airlifted from the prison and the prison was placed on lockdown. He'd also confirmed as soon as the lockdown is lifted, the blacks will be seeking revenge on the Mexicans.
What's Gucci?
What's cracking?
What it do, Fight?
I covered. Y'all probably heard, for some of my viewers, I did the reaction on Whack 100 in this call. So this is probably about the same call right here that I actually covered. So y'all, I'm just saying, some of y'all probably heard this same call already if you watch my other reaction.
Shit, nothing much to look, right? This morning, brother, the Mex came out and bust on the boy Tory. You know, they airlifted him and all that, so, you know, that's going to respond. When we come off this shit, we're going to respond the right way to that.
They laid the yard down?
No, it happened in the building.
What was it over? It was over some, what he had did he have a debt, a gambling debt or something?
Nah.
Yeah, it's crazy me paying attention to hear that now. He asked him, and I know he's just asking. He's not insinuating or saying that's what it was, but just think about it. Tory Lanez having a gambling debt in prison. Bruh got to be what, the richest one in there, if not the richest, right, in there. So that was just a crazy question within itself when I think about it.
Nothing like that. Shit, we don't even really know. We don't even know the whole situation, you know.
So it was just like some foul play. So it's finna be up.
Foul play, all right.
Yeah, it did for sure with some foul play.
That's crazy.
Damn, cuz. Wasn't nobody right there with him when it happened? Wasn't nobody right there with him when it went down?
Yeah, I guess nobody wasn't. He was by himself out there. He got a whole tier full of necks. He on a whole tier full of necks.
Wow.
But you already know, once we get off this shit, we press some play on. We press play.
Hey.
I'm already knowing. God damn.
I already know.
Tehachapi has a known reputation for being SNY, otherwise known as a special needs yard. These yards are known to house gang dropouts, snitches, sex offenders, and anyone else whose life is threatened by being in general population. But California has also recently implemented 50-50 yards, half general population, half SNY, to integrate the two prison societies. This goes against strict prison gang politics.
Crazy. Listen, that's some crazy, I don't know, this is some crazy new shit. I mean, Wack mentioned that in my last video. I was questioning then, what the hell was that about? And the 50, I mean, that's some crazy. Why would you want to put, I'm still trying to understand the logic behind this, man. Like for those that know what goes down and how it's normally ran, that's so unusual. You know what I'm saying? To even put that type of situation together like that. Like, that's crazy. I'm still trying to understand the logic behind this.
Mainly for the Mexicans and whites who are allegedly forced to attack any rival or SNY inmate to essentially remove themselves from the yard until they are placed back in general population amongst the quote-unquote honorable convicts. While general population is deadly, it's controlled chaos. So, and SNY yards can be just as dangerous, if not worse, as the gang politics that keep things in line go out the window and violence becomes rampant. It's unclear if Tory was in fact SNY, as that comes with its own bad reputation within prison, but it's likely Tory was placed on a 50-50 yard, and his politics didn't require him to remove himself. Now, Tory's attacker would be identified as 42-year-old Santino Casio, a man with a dark violent history. On June 8th, 2022, a then 20-year-old Santino, who went by the name Sonny, was heard arguing with his 13-year-old girlfriend. Minutes later, she was shot in the face with a shotgun. Santino would go on the run for 2 weeks before being arrested.
Whoa. Slow your roll. 13. Y'all should have knew I was gonna stop it right there. Oh, he tweaking. Bro tweaking. Yeah, he looked crazy already. You 20, what? He was 20 years old at the time. Shot her in the face. Oh, he tweaking on folk. He was with a 13-year-old, shot her in the face, fled. So this is the guy. Now I'm gonna tell you what I already know. He was a crash out from the get-go, so now it just makes sense.
His own family would testify against him in court, how they heard the argument before the blast. A coroner would testify the barrel must have been 4 inches away from the girl's face before it went off. An interview from the day he was arrested would be played at trial where Santino admitted to having a relationship with the 13-year-old girl for a month before the shooting. The girl was a runaway, while Santino was on parole from the California Youth Authority for burglary. In 2004, Santino would be sentenced to life in prison for murdering 13-year-old Evelyn Candejas and 2 other attempted murders from 2 separate stabbings. While in prison, he'd be sentenced to an additional 6 years for a prison stabbing on another inmate, and in 2018, he was sentenced to an additional 2 years for possessing a knife in prison. Santino Casio was as dangerous as they come, but his conviction for murdering a 13-year-old girl he'd been dating confirms he was definitely an SNY inmate, as he'd never be allowed to walk in general population without being stabbed or killed. Why he chose to attack Tory Lanez is unknown. Many question if Tory was targeted because of his own conviction for allegedly shooting his former friend Meg Thee Stallion. The fact that he had a female victim, many would assume would be reason enough for him to be hit. But Santino's case is far worse than Tory's could ever be portrayed, and offers no motive as to why this happened. Tory Lanez is expected to survive, and it can also be expected that Santino be placed in the shoe and receive additional time in prison for this attack. But what is more time to someone who's already serving a lifetime? A superstar rapper once on top of the world, now surrounded by killers with nothing to lose because of a stupid decision that changed the entire course of his life. Tory is lucky to have survived this, and hopefully remains lucky enough to survive the remaining years of his 10-year prison sentence. Now, when Tory was sentenced to prison, everybody assumed one of 2 things. One is his money and celebrity status is going to keep him safe. And 2, because he has a female victim, he could be targeted. I don't know if either one played a role in this, but the fact that Tory was damn near killed, right? Because prisons don't call in a helicopter for nothing. They all have medical units within the prison. Like, if it's superficial, they'll fix you. The fact that he had to be airlifted, his lungs collapsed, Tory almost got killed. This was a serious stabbing. Anytime a helicopter lands, it's serious. The fact that he survived this, and the fact that he was hit up in the first place, shows you how real prison is. Your celebrity status is not going to protect you. If you're accessible, it can happen to you. The fact that Tory was on an SNY yacht, from my understanding, doesn't mean he necessarily went PC for protective custody. From my understanding, the black race in California State Prison doesn't have to remove themselves from SNY yards because their politics don't do that. The whites and the Mexicans will not stay on a 50-50 yard. It's required that they remove themselves. The reason they do that is so they don't run into pieces of shit like Santino Casio, a man that murdered a 13-year-old girl that he was dating, right? General population, they don't want him there. So if he goes there, they remove him. But if they get placed into a dorm or a unit where they're surrounded by weird fucks like that guy, they gotta pop on somebody to remove themselves. The reality is, if Tory was never at that spot around that guy, this would have never happened. And that's the thing about general population. Even though it's so strict, it's controlled chaos. That's why when Spider Loc was questioning his boy inside of the prison, he was asking, was it a gambling debt or something? Did Tory do something? What would cause someone of another race to attack him?
Crazy.
Because under controlled politics, that doesn't happen like that. But in this situation, with SNY inmates, there's no rules and everything is off limits, resulting in Tory Lanez damn near being killed. But let me know y'all's thoughts and comments in the comment section. Again, Tory is like 5'1", and from what I understand, he's been moving around like a regular inmate. The celebrity status doesn't hold that much weight to people that don't really give a fuck. You know, you got a lot of people in there that's never coming home. They don't care about the celebrity shit because they don't ever get the chance to experience it. This is prison. This is the reality of prison. And this could be your reality if you make a decision that lands you there. It's 1090 Jake. I'm rocking with y'all, and y'all rocking with me. Until next time.
20-year-old with a 13-year-old, I can't even get past that. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. So you could sum it up to say that Tory got hit by a pedophile, which is crazy within itself. I'm gonna keep it real. Like, I hear all that what 1090 saying, but then when you look at some of the facts and everything that's brewing outside of this, and some of events that have taken place even prior or right up to this, it's the timing is very, very, very questionable. You get what I'm saying? And I'm still saying to say if it was just so random, if you know what I'm saying, like the timing, it being Tory, understanding events that's going on behind closed doors with the Kelsey, the bodyguard situation. Y'all know, I mean, it's already out. You know what I'm saying? It's just the timing. So I still don't feel like it was so random. But I will say this, in my opinion, I feel like they chose the right person to do it. You get what I'm saying? Bro was a crash out. I mean, who else to get to do something like that other than somebody who's already with a record such as his? He already done for it. He ain't getting out. You dating a 13-year-old and you shoot her in the face, do the whatever, you get what I'm saying, then go off to stab 2 others, and bro ain't getting out. So if I needed to put a hit on somebody that was in the inside, who better would I choose? Think about it. It just seemed, like I say, timing is questionable. So, them putting it all together like it's the politics and this and that, the 50-50 SNL, I get all that. And true enough, all that is facts. I've been in the inside, you know what I'm saying? I know what it's like. I know how that stuff go. And again, it's all the same thing. But at the same time, in this particular case, I just don't feel like it was so random. I don't think that was randomly done, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, understanding Tory's case. And then, everybody knows since he been in the inside, there's been nothing but great reports. They say he hold his head up high. He don't walk around like he a celebrity as far as what everybody else can say. You get what I'm saying? Like, he in there helping people, helping with cases, helping keeping their vibration. So he's not even the type to seem like, to start a confrontation to begin with. And the debt question, of course, like I say, it's a goofy question. I mean, it's TL. Like, what he gonna be in there with a debt for? You get what I'm saying? Even with all the support he got on the outside, the debt would be the last question. So that's just my opinion. That's more to it. And I'm pretty sure, as time go on, the truth will come out. You know what I'm saying? The truth gonna come out. It's a lot going on with that. I'm glad that he did survive. He made it through. And I'm going to say it like that too. You look at this, and like I say, me understanding the deeper essence of this whole situation, it's a reason he made it through. You get what I'm saying? He made it through for a reason. He one of them ones. He the chosen ones. They tried to tell him. Like I said, I mentioned in my last, I think it's a hit. You know what I'm saying? Just with the timing of everything. And it goes to show that it ain't that. He ain't going out like that. He's protected. You know what I'm saying? That's how he survived. Everybody questioned how he survived this and that. There was so many different stories. He got hit 3 times. He hit 14 times and this and that. Whatever it was, he survived. And that's what really matters. I don't wish that on nobody. Nobody deserved that type of treatment. You know what I'm saying? But that's what actually goes down in a prison. Definitely. You get what I mean? And I remember, just recalling, if I'm not mistaken, when he was in court, I believe he mentioned to the judge he didn't need PC or didn't want to be in PC. And to my understanding, I thought he was already in PC, but as 1090 just described, you heard the breakdown and why it's so different in California. So that would make sense. Because to me, I think I think he's already in PC. But like I said, after that breakdown, it's like, maybe not. But I think at this point, in this instance, depending on what's going on in the future for him, he may want to, you on that millionaire status, you got to move a little different. You get what I'm saying? But I mean, hey, hopefully he'll soon be free. You know what I'm saying? If you know, you know what I mean? And again, it's always free Tory. Man, y'all already know how it go. I'm checking out. Peace.
Yeah. Whoa.